Hare Krishna. Okay, dear devotees, we've come together and let us do what we do automatically when we come together, not even a formality. Let us give our obeisances to one another and then proceed from there. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And to Guru, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And to Gauranga, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvaje Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, well, this is a very auspicious start to our program today, and a different start in the sense that we've seen for the very first time. I think it's the first time I've even seen pictures, what to speak of live, of the Detroit ISKCON temple called the Fisherman's Mansion, but world famous. And then we found ourselves suddenly in New Zealand with the devotees. And so we're very happy to have this unusual, it's not usual, therefore it is unusual, happy beginning for our program today. And look, here's Kaila and Mum. Oh no, it's not Kaila. This is Radha Sundari. And, oh, remember, tell me your name again.
Your name, Padma.
Padma, yes, excuse me. Padma, we're all very happy to see you, Padma. Hare Krishna.
And this is our Kaila Maharaj.
This is our Kaila. Okay. Hare Krishna, Kaila. Hare Krishna. All right, beautiful. All right. So let us just briefly hear something of the Fisherman's Mansion, which most of us don't know. I don't know. I've heard about how it came about. Maybe we can start there. And this really, it is a glorious place, a glorious center for Krishna consciousness, and world famous by its grandness. So Paramananda, would you like to say, or Narottam Nitai Prabhu? I don't know. Do you know the history? But Paramananda,
sure.
I think, knows the history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm leaving. Do you want me to stay and give you some picture tour of the inside while Paramananda Prabhu maybe talks about it?
Yes, you can do indeed.
Maharaj, sure. I know some anecdotes from Prabhupada time that I have heard from Goswami Maharaj, but really, I think if Narottam Nitai, I mean, if
sure.
you permit, if we can go, inside without disturbing anybody, and he can give us the, a little background of that, that would be nice.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, I can start. The Fisher Mansion, it was built by one of the big auto industry giants. I think it was Cadillac's grandson. I don't know exactly, but one of the big automakers' grandson, and it was built at that time because he was of one faith, and his person he liked to marry was of another faith in the Christian tradition, like I think Protestant Catholic. I forget which one was which. And so his parents denied, and at that time he built this big mansion, and big celebrity parties were being thrown in the Roaring 20s, 1920s. And then after that, then the Great Depression happened and wars. And then in the 70s, when Srila Prabhupada came, and this mansion was got. It was I forget exactly who. It was two devotees. I think Amrish Prabhu was one of them, and then it was like the Ford Motor Company and like the auto union workers company devotees that they came together to together purchase the Fisher Mansion for cash. Srila Prabhupada had made an offer. And he said, "We'll pay cash," and we were able to, those two devotees were able to amass the amount for, I think it was 300 something thousand for at that in the 70s. Today's value probably was about $1 million, but the whole Detroit was in the Great Depression, so all the property values were lower, much than they were previous. It was there was a difficulty. Outside when devotees used to go to Kirtan and everything, there was, Detroit was still had a lot of gangs, things like that. It was not very safe, but devotees were safe. And so, yeah, the Fisher Mansion got developed then. It's very, I guess you could say, it's nice. It's really a nice mansion. Like their photo of it. This is the entrance, and 1920s style. It's more like a.
Oh, is it me or is it
He lost connection.
lost connection? Yeah. If he does go inside, we don't want him talking too loud. We know what it's like in an ashram.
Here were Lord Jagannath deities, and then later on came Radha Kunj Bihari and then Gauranitai. So, yeah, this is a quick tour. I'll give you a quick tour from the inside if possible, just so you can see how it is. Quickly, I'll show you how the inside looks like. I think so this is Srinathji Hall. This is where Srinathji is. These are some of the original paintings we have here on the wall. And let me just go through the kitchen and see if I can see anything from the inside of the mansion. So this is the inside of the mansion. As you can see, it's like, it's actually a mansion. This is a picture of Lord Brahma. And there's a lot of different old artifacts works here. The floors they have gold inside them. If you look closely, you can see gold in there. There's another picture of Srila Prabhupada. And I think things are closing down now for the night. But as you can see, it is a proper mansion. And yeah, this is, Srila Prabhupada's mercy upon us that we have this, great mansion for Radha Kunj Bihari's home. And some of the original artworks are here. Quickly see if the lights go on here. I'll show you some of the original artwork if the lights are still on. So this is one of the photos of the original artwork.
Okay,
some of them, I think they're being, they're redoing some of them right now. Anyways, I will stop talking now because I think that's best. But yeah, this is the Fisher Mansion from the inside.
Okay, Prabhu, many thanks.
Thank you very much.
Don't make too much noise, otherwise we know what it's like in an ashram and in the evening people are noisy. So Prabhu, let us hear then from Paramananda Prabhu. He has some anecdotes. Let us hear some devotional anecdotes of the Fisherman's Mansion. Many thanks, Narottam Prabhu.
Absolutely, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Paramananda Prabhu, are you there?
He got disconnected as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't really know much more about the Fisherman's Mansion except that, but I can say that there were two very, very tall and respectable Indian devotees from Detroit, and I'm just struggling to remember their names because it's, 15, 18 years since I mentioned them, since I've been in touch with them. But there were two older devotees, if they're in the world still, I do not know, in Detroit. And they would come to see Gurudev in America, but they came also in India. Hare Krishna. And they worked for Ford Motor Company.
It says that this is the first Vedic temple to be opened in Michigan and is located at the Fisher Mansion in Detroit. The first Vedic temple.
Jai. Okay, well, let's just see. I'm sure Paranand will find his way back in the meantime. But can we just come to New Zealand and come to the devotees there? And I mean, really, it's very wonderful to have you with us. And Anandavardhan Prabhu, would you like just to give a little devotional news, something from New Zealand to share with us all? We would appreciate.
Well, today is a very auspicious day, as we all know. Today is Gurudev Sringadev's appearance day. After visiting with you, we're going to go to have a program with Buddhi, Maṭh and Purna Brahma and those devotees downtown. And also today, that's one thing that's happened today. But also today, I like to think about, this is the day that Gurudev came to the mission as a 17-year-old boy in 1947. That's 75 years ago now, when he came to the lotus feet of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So in that way, it has two very significant meanings. And Lord Sringadev and their connection with Gurudev is also there. So I've sort of been thinking about this morning, that when Gurudev was just a young boy, because we all know the story, when he arrived at the Maṭh as a young 17-year-old boy after walking all night and swimming across the Ganga with one devotee that brought him there. I don't know his name, but he turned up there at the temple, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked him, "Can you stay?" And he thought, "Oh, I can stay." And the devotees brought him and said, "Yes, Maharaj, he can stay." And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, "Okay, two things that you can do. And not listen to your mind, not listen to what I say, not listening to your mind." And Gurudev said, "Oh, I said yes." And I didn't realize how difficult it would be. But to the best of my ability, I've done this all through my life and listened to what Guru Maharaj said, and not my mind. I was thinking, even my mind tells me good things sometimes. But at that time, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, even if you think your mind is telling you good things, don't listen to it. Even the good things your mind tells you, listen to me. So, I mean, we all have a mind and we know what it's like. And we listen to our mind, it usually gets us in trouble. So we need to listen to personalities like Madhusudan Maharaj and read Gurudev's books and Srila Guru Maharaj's books and take advice from there. Not to take so much advice from our mind. It can be difficult, very difficult. This is the situation we're in this world. If we listen to our mind, no doubt we'll end up in trouble. So yeah, that's pretty well all I've got to say, Maharaj. I'm so happy to be in your association after so long, over a year.
And you're in the association of good souls and gather in these regular Zooms, and you're welcome not only every week, twice a week. So you're welcome all of the time.
Yeah, we have a connectivity problem where we are. Basically, there isn't any. They call it a dead spot or a dead zone. So Wi-Fi is pretty well non-existent out there. Can get some mobile data occasionally, but it's yeah. It's it's good and it's bad, I suppose.
It's
Like
the
computers.
living zone because you're not getting absorbed in all the other
Well,
things which can be getting absorbed in through the internet. So
that's
living
right.
zone. And you're in the same place, is it, where we had the program in the
Yeah, we're
countryside?
still there, Varro. Yeah, we've still got your jacket there too. Waiting for you to come back.
Hare Krishna.
But yeah, things are going on very slowly with Food for Life. Me and Ananta Krishna are there one day a week, just on Wednesdays, because they had, all the restrictions and the lock and all that, and everything got out of sync. But slowly everything's coming back to normal. Slowly.
And Prabhu, we have an eyewitness here with us. Parama Bhakti Didi was with us my last night, means some hours ago. And Parama Bhakti, she is a witness how I was actually naming you and Buddhimanta Khan and the devotees there and expressing about the kind of service that you are doing there, the selfless service in New Zealand and how it draws so many people. So, I do have eyewitnesses with me. Where's Parama Bhakti Didi? She can give a thumbs up to say, yes, this is what was being discussed.
Hello, Maharaj. Dandavat, Maharaj.
Dandavat. So
Dandavat, how devout.
this is Anandavadan Prabhu, who I mentioned yesterday evening. Just see. Parama Bhakti Didi.
Yes, Maharaj. I remember.
So now you have an opportunity to meet to the devotees there. And this is
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hare Krishna, our family all over the world. Gurudev and Guru Maharaj's family all over the world. Jai.
Well, we're very happy to have Jai Garanga here for a few days. So.
And if you like, you can tell Jai Gauranga Prabhu's history, because you are saying that I know that he's there. You can just say, what is his service now? How did he get the service he has now? And give a little introduction.
Through your grace, Maharaj, through your grace, through your mercy.
Ho, ho.
I think Mohan had his eye on him the first minute he seen him. Mohan, this boy is coming to Australia.
Yeah.
And he'll be the pujari.
Then now you've got to do a little physical hard work and pull Jai Gauranga Prabhu in front of the camera, and then I'll just embarrass him for a moment or two.
Or three.
Or three. Jai Gauranga Prabhu, come in front of the camera. Yes. Please let the devotees meet you and see you happily. And so, as you can all see, then he's not an old devotee, maybe lifetime after lifetime, but he's actually 19 years old. But we all met up and he's drawn in by the preaching of the devotees there in New Zealand and meeting the devotees, personal association. But he was 16 years old, right? When we met, when we were there in New Zealand.
I think so, Maharaj, yeah.
And he was very keen. He wanted to join the temple. I mean, he just wanted to be a full-time devotee and not proceed in the whole educational system, this, that, and the other. And he was keen and very nice mood. And his mum, who she's not here today with you, but she's there in New Zealand, but she's not in the gathering maybe. But his mum, she's very understanding lady, and she came to the programs and she was happy for him, but she said, but you are underage now. You wait, you stay, you become 18, and then as many countries of the world, and 18, then you're a grown-up person. Then you make your decision and then see what will be. And so he continued with all the devotees and he waited, and as soon as he's 18, so I'm 18 now, can I join this temple? And so first of all, taking initiation after 18. So his mom said, wait, when you're in a grown-up position. So 18, then he very happily prayed for initiation, and then by the grace of Mohanananda Prabhu, one of the leaders of the Australian mission, who arranged our tour actually in New Zealand when we went there that time. And Mohanananda Prabhu, he said, okay, you want to join the temple? Then in Australia, we have a temple in a whole established ashram. And he arranged to bring him over to Govinda Dham in Australia, one of our Govinda ashrams. And then step by step, he was doing such nice service, and then took second initiation, and then now is engaged in pujari work, and as in every temple, whatever's needed, seva, which Gurudev appreciates so much. And now he's back in New Zealand for the first time in over a year, and visiting for a short while, and returning to Australia, not to Australia, just continuing to, actually in New Zealand, they say there's, those of you who know geography, there's the North Island of New Zealand, there's a South Island. So they just say North Island, South Island. And in New Zealand, they say the West Island. That's what they say. Going to the West Island of New Zealand to Govinda Dham. Okay, Jai Gauranga Prabhu, we've embarrassed you, and everybody's happy who meets him because he's got that natural devotee enthusiasm.
Joy, Gurudev.
And there's some secret, which we can't tell anybody, so don't tell anybody else, some secret hope from Australia, from the devotees there who are with him too, and from us here, that he'll come to Italy for some time presently. So
Hopefully.
Don't tell Jai Gauranga Prabhu. But he already knows, actually. It's the other, nobody else knows. But anyhow, we'll see when that'll be. It's not in stone, but that is also a reflection of the generous desire of the Australian devotees, that when they see, a bright devotee, we want to give every chance, enthusiasm, opportunity. And he's brahmachari, he's surrendered to the temple, so temple looking after him. Hare Krishna. And this is the principle of devotional service. We come, we surrender. What Krishna will do, what he wants from us, he will do. And what will be, will be. Yes, and in the meantime, some more devotees joined us. Oh, Maharaj joined us. Bhakti Ashraya, Dandi Maharaj joined us, looking very bright, and in a bright room also, in an undisclosed location. Actually in Moldova, right? Yeah, a country which I know almost nothing about, but he's in Moldova preaching, running programs, etc. So well done, Dandavas Maharaj, happy to see you. And Bhagavan Prabhu joined us, our senior devotee here with us. Dandavat Bhagavan Prabhu. How are you? All good?
By the grace of the Guru and your Vaishnavas, I'm very happy to hear from you all people. I'm always happy to hear from you. I always try to connect you to hear from you and all the devotees. That maintain me by your grace, the grace of the devotees. And okay, I'm fine.
Then we are healthy when we are wanting the association of devotees. So we can say we are all healthy to the extent that we thank for that association. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, happy and healthy. We're very healthy and very happy.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Nityananda, eternally happy is Nityananda, the topmost servitor. And Ekadashi Didi joined us, to Udaram Prabhu with us from the beginning with his large earphones. So he's not like me, I've got the loudspeaker on, so I'm waking up the flowers and the plants. But he's got the headphones on, so he doesn't disturb others in the flats, no doubt. And Radha Sundari, we met Dana. Dana's with us. Dhananjay Prabhu, from the beginning, he sent his obeisances to. And if I missed anybody in our greetings, and Leela Moy Prabhu, Leela Moy is with us. Yes, Leela Moy. And here's Ekadashi, engaged in a noontime preparation. Oh, look, noon, been milking. No, not yet milking the cow. She's not yet giving milk. Right? Davali. Oh, Davali. The cow is called Davali. Very sweet. All right, dear devotees. So Paramananda Prabhu is back, and let us hear from Paramananda Prabhu about some of the devotional glories of the Fisher Mansion, the devotees, whatever anecdotes that he knows. And behind him, by the way, is another of our young generation. So young generation meet young generations, Ram Sundar Prabhu. So Jai Gauranga Prabhu, meet Ram Sundar Prabhu.
About the same age, and also joined about same age, and also had to ask permission from his parents to move into the temple because he was underage.
Oh wow. Luckily I don't. I got a lease half early. When I was 17 and a half, I got let go. So
Yeah, nice.
I wouldn't have survived that half year. So
the pran was leaving his body, the life force was leaving his body without the association with the devotees. So parents had some sukriti. Then they observed his situation and said, okay, we better send you to the temple than lose you. So he was giving that permission. And actually we just disappeared for some minutes because Goswami Maharaj called. There was no coincidence. And then when I said, oh Maharaj, I was about to go to Fisher Mansion that I've been dreaming for more than 30 years. And he said, don't worry, I will take you on a tour. So he take us on a tour by describing what it is, to Fisher Mansion. And then he tells the story how when he was with Prabhupada in Chandigarh, when the news of Fisher Mansion reached Prabhupada's ears, and then he's hearing from the devotees description of the property. And he's basically saying that, yes, we should acquire that property and use it in seva. He haven't seen it yet, but he basically said, yes, we're buying it. But he said, actually, what you can do is you tell them, please give it to me as a donation. And I will give you a receipt so you can deduct your taxes, like deductible receipt. And he said, when devotees, the Prabhupada is saying they're following, right? So they're giving that offer to the owners of the Fisher Mansion. And at that time, they were asking for $300,000, which was a substantial amount of money. It was maybe, I don't know, 3 million, 5 million, but actually it costs much more right now. So those people, they were shocked. They were speechless when they heard that offer. And observing their reaction, Prabhupada said, all right, we will purchase it. And then he requested some of his able, well-to-do devotees to assist with that. And Ambarish Prabhu was one, with the heir of the Ford family. He was one of them. And then and Prabhupada called her, a girl give the rest. She was also a Prabhupada disciple. And she was the daughter of Automobile Union chief or president. So she gave the rest. And then Maharaj said, when we entered the Fisher Mansion, we were stunned how beautiful and elaborately it was decorated. And then he went describing how devotees, instead of the grass lawn, they created the clovers lawn. So the clovers are very thick. So the grass is a little bit too harsh for Prabhupada to walk on. So they planted clovers, and they would pick, if there is a single blade of grass sticking out, devotees would run and pluck it out. So Prabhupada would often go there and walk in that garden, then he will be sitting by the river and speaking Krishna Katha. Maharaj said, very, very vivid memories of that. And then another story, he said, there was one very opulent room, like a hall inside the Fisher Mansion, entirely made from a very precious redwoods of America, the huge redwoods we hear about in California. So it was absolutely stunning. And Prabhupada is there, and it's the first time he sees the mansion after purchasing it. And he's looking at the walls and he's inquiring. So you have to understand how precious and how important it is to actually show the texture of that redwood. That's actually a sign of opulence. But Prabhupada said, so in which which color we're going to paint these walls? They look unfinished. Anyhow, Maharaj, those are, and it also reminded him, and I think I want Ramasundar to tell the rest, it reminded him about how a pranam mantra to Vyasadev was revealed. The fisherman, that word reminded him about it. So he was talking about it, Ramasundar. You remember what Maharaj said? Okay. Loud and clear, please.
He said that Gurudev was very captured by that pranam because of all of the different glorifications you could give for Veda Vyas, like Dvaipayana, Krishna, Veda Vyas, that Garga Muni says in the pranam that I offer my obeisances to the son of the fisher.
Fisher girl.
Fisher girl, yeah. So it was like so simple, and it wasn't like it was not something to be ashamed of. It was something like glorious and so like intimate and
a family-like. So that captured the heart of Srila Govinda Maharaj, and that reminded Gaspaya Maharaj the mentioning of fishermen and fisherwoman, the son of a fisherwoman. Anyhow, Maharaj.
Jai, Jai, and Jai, and still being not only maintained, but you see there was so many cars in the car park, and you can see the places running very happily. So this also, all of these aspects of devotional service, so many aspects of devotional service, and glorious Nitya Sukriti, Nitya Seva, it is all eternal, and may the devotees get all their glory for their seva from then until now. Those who donated, those who maintained, to keep it running too. So much electricity. One of the first things I noticed when going around was like so much electricity to light the place. Just the electricity bill must be huge.
And remember, you were visiting a place in Rome where Saint Peter stayed for over a night, I think, right? And how popular it was. It became a tirtha.
Yeah, for one night stay, right. Hare Krishna.
So those places that were visited by the great Vaishnavas, great devotees of the Lord, I mean, we actually have this fortune to visit those places or see those places or hear the pastimes. It just happened not long ago. So they are the true tirthas.
And talking about places where people stayed and true tirthas, and actually Anandavardhan Prabhu reminded us, so in fact, for the first time put in my brain, actually didn't remind me that it's a 75th anniversary of Gurudev coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. And when you said 75, really, and I've written it, I did my mathematics right here. I wrote 2022 minus 1947, it's 75 years. So, I mean, that's quite astonishing. And by the way, on the 50th anniversary of Gurudev coming to the temple, so this is discussing Srila Bhaktisundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev coming to Guru Maharaj, Srila Shri Ram Maharaj's lotus feet. He came in 1947. And on the 50th anniversary of him coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet, then somebody called Mahananda tried to do something which wasn't achieved. Generally, by Gurudev's grace, generally what we did do did come about. What we tried to do did come about. But I wanted to, and actually this was also with some inspiration and some kind of assistance at that time from Mohanananda Prabhu, who is the one we mentioned just now, who helped to bring Jai Gauranga Prabhu from New Zealand to Govinda Dham. And we wanted to arrange like a grand Harinam Sankirtan celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gurudev coming to the mat by going to going to Nadangat, where Gurudev came from in the night, and very early, the middle of the night, crossing the river, which is there by swimming. There was no bridge, so having to swim across the river, coming out the other side, and then Gurudev would he walked all the way from there to Chaitanya Saraswat Maṭh to come to Guru Maharaj. And that history, most of you probably know that history. But we wanted to get our devotees and have a grand Sankirtan with a banner and like chanting the glories of Gurudev as for his 50th year. But somehow or another, it didn't happen because the devotees all saying it's a good idea. But when we come to arrange the devotees going in the night to Bamanpara and then starting like 3 in the morning. So we go the evening before, take some rest and then like start early in the morning. We didn't get as many volunteers as we liked. In fact, we didn't get any volunteers. I said, no, we're not going to go and do this anyway. It was a plan and program, and in our mind we did it. And somehow or another, for 75 years, it would be nice at least to retrace those steps. And now we don't even have to swim across the river. Now there is a bridge across the river. And even if we had to swim, it's now much, Gurudev, we've been there many times. We've been so many times to that area with Gurudev in the car. And Gurudev is saying before that river was so wide. And now, because of exploitation or using the resources, the river water gets used for irrigation and things change in the world and the river is much less. As is the river Ganges, by the way. And Guru Maharaj told, and we are there with Guru Maharaj when he was saying about the Ganges. He said when he was first in the Maṭh, which Guru Maharaj was there in 1942. 1942. So that means this is the 80th anniversary, will be the 80th anniversary on Jagannath Rath Yatra Day of official inauguration of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Maṭh, which is the Jagannath Rath Yatra Day 1942. So Guru Maharaj is saying that when he was first there, the steamers would come up the river Ganges, with cargo. But he said, no, it's not possible. The depth of the river is reduced much, and the width, no doubt.
Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj also mentioned that coincidentally, that brahmachari who convinced him and preached to him in Bamunpara, his name was Nrisimhananda.
Nadangat, yeah. Nrsimhananda, and it's Nrsimha's appearance day. And it's a fasting day, dear devotees.
Now there is a story we're remembering today when Janardhan Maharaj, our Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj, trying to figure out why are we waiting till the dark, because he was saying that Nrisimhadev appears during the daylight, because he appears coming out of the pillar, plays and fights with Hiranyakashipu, then twilight, then he kills Hiranyakashipu on the porch of the palace. And then Janardhan Maharaj is trying to reduce, maybe he's trying to reduce the time of fast. He's asking Govinda Maharaj, why then we're waiting till the sunset? And then Govinda Maharaj, Maharaj, Nrisimhadev is very, very angry. I mean, he's fighting, right? How can we eat while he's fighting? And then he's very angry. Then Prahlada Maharaj is pacifying him with his prayers. Then Nrisimhadev is a little bit more pacified. And then demigods, they're preparing all the paraphernalia for the aratik. They're doing aratik. Then they're offering boga. And it started. I mean, he was killed during the twilight. So considering prayers took some time. Aratik took some time. Boga offering took some time. So it's already dark. And Gurudev says, only after the boga offering and aratik to Nrisimhadev, we're taking some remnants. So this is why we're fasting till the sunset. But other Vishnu avatars, we fast till the noon.
And on that story, Janardhan Maharaj, our dear Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj, he was you can say like in a debate society or something like that. He was debating with some hope perhaps in the background that there'll be some allowance to break the fast earlier, because Nrsingadev must have appeared before the sun sets, so therefore we can break fast. You know, it must have been at least an hour or more before sunset that he appeared before.
3 hours.
Oh, was it 3 hours? Oh, someone's made the calculation. 3 hours before sunset. Anyway, so Janardana Maharaj was kind of hoping, oh, we're going to get a little way in that we can break our fast earlier because Nrsingadev's already appeared. But rather than that, the opposite result came, because Gurudev is saying is, yes, not only until sunset, but we have to wait until, first of all, Hiranyakashipu has been killed, and then that Nrsingadev has been pacified, and as you said, the prayers, the worship, the offering. So instead of getting the allowance to break our fast earlier, then the opposite result came. Oh, we need to break our fast later. Janardana was very sad about it. And for those of you who don't know Janardana Maharaj, he is an enthusiast for Prasad Seva.
And that question was asked, well, that argument was put forward on Ram Navami. So Gurudev concluded that talk. He's saying, but Maharaj, today is Ram Navami. We're fasting only till noon. So you're saved, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So 75 years since Srila Gurudev came to the temple. But then again, I mean, for us, all these years, like 50th is the golden, and 75 years, somebody who's been married for 75 years here can say, what is it? Is that the Diamond Jubilee? I don't remember. It has a special name.
Something like that.
Some special name, but it is a special time, not just to remember that, you know, or today's the day Gurudev came to the mat, but to give some extra focus, as well as it being Nrsimha Chaturdasi. And I'm sure that everybody you see, starting in New Zealand and now around the world, will be in that wave of glorification of Nrsingadev, of Prahlad Maharaj, of what is devotion, what is the whole foundation of our devotion, Prahlad's mood of exclusive surrender to the Lord, accepting the Lord's guardianship fully. And this aspect of the appearance of Nrsingadev, this is why Nrsingadev appeared, to show the glories of devotional service, the glories of his devotees. And on the day of the glories of the devotees, Srila Gurudev came to Guru Maharaj as part of his eternal Leela. So we are saying 75 years or 50 years or however many years. It's part of the eternal Leela that's taking place. How we come to Guru, how the pure devotees show their pastimes in this world and show their coming in connection with their eternal masters. Every case is unique and full of inspiration for us all.
Dear
Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna. Yes.
dear Maharaj, please check the chat. There is a question from Narottam Nitai Das.
Check the chat. Click, click. Now, question: when Lord Nrsingadev asked Prahlad Maharaj for a boon, why did Prahlad Maharaj say he only wants to remain a servant? Can you speak a little bit on the rasas that great devotees are in? Oh my goodness. But yes, a devotee only wants to be a devotee. And Prahlad Maharaj he was not worshipping the Lord for anything, just I am automatically, he knows I am the Lord's servitor. And automatically means by the grace of the Vaishnavas. He heard the preaching of Narada Muni to his mother when he was in his mother's womb, which is also very instructional for us. You know, that everywhere where there is life, where there is consciousness, the baby in the mother's womb is conscious, and the descriptions of the consciousness of the baby is also in the spotless Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. So at this time, Narada Muni, and he was giving instruction, and Prahlad Maharaj is in his mother's womb, and he's hearing everything, and he remembers all of this, and remembers it all also by the grace of the Vaishnavas, the grace of Narada Muni. So his nature from birth, his nature from before birth was actually his eternal nature. In other words, his very nature was that he's a devotee, not a member of this world of exploitation. And evidence, we always want evidence, isn't it? But evidence of this is when he's like super young, when he's at school, he's teaching to his young schoolmates who, I mean, I'm not sure what age, 5 years old? I mean, something like this. I know Paramananda probably knows the age categories, but very young kids. He's telling them about devotional service. And because he's a devotee, they are becoming devotees. Devotion comes from devotees. So the very nature of Prahlad Maharaj, it wasn't that he, you know, sat and he's like meditating on how to be a devotee instead of being an exploiter. From the word go, whatever the expression is, from the word go, his whole nature was that clean nature with all the illusion taken away. What's left is a devotee. That's what the nature of the soul is in its pure condition. And Prahlad Maharaj fully surrendered to the Lord, accepting the Lord as his guardian, and in this way, in the Shanta Ras, he's coming fully surrendered to the Lord without anything else except I want to be your servant. So fully now under his protection. And then what can I do for you? What are we to do? We are to hear, remember, chant, serve, etc. the Lord's lotus feet. And then this is what Prahlad Maharaj is doing. So fully in the Shanta Ras, fully in the surrendered Dasya Ras mood. And so our servitorship and being under the guardianship of the Lord means I accept everything from that, but then I only want to be your devotee. So there is no doubt more to say that for those who know the technical side, but the friendship relationship with the Lord, I'm not sure that I could express much in that regard. And again, Paramananda, he knows the slokas and can probably say better than me if we want to like start analyzing the rasas. But we know that it is Prahlad Maharaj's mood of devotion that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this topic will be given at the time when they were doing Vrindavan Dham Parikrama, and they were staying near Radhakund, and there was going to be a lecture that evening at the junction. There's a narrow strip at the junction between Radhakund and Shyamakund, and there at that like highest place, then there was going to be a lecture, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he gave that the subject matter of that will be Prahlad Maharaj's mood of complete surrender to the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj's mood. And the devotees did make a little, like, not necessarily objection, but did make some suggestion to Srila Saraswati Thakur. But Srila Saraswati Thakur, it is it's the highest place, is written in the scripture, this is the highest place. Shouldn't we be talking about Radharani and the gopis and this, that, and the other? And Srila Saraswati Thakur said, we cannot discuss such topics without the foundation, back to basics, the basics, without the foundation of that service attitude, that surrendered service attitude of Prahlad Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So some correction, addition from Paramananda Prabhu would be very welcome.
Maharaj, there's nothing to correct, but there's this beautiful verse when Prahlad Maharaj is asked by Nrisimhadev, ask for a boon. Now I am pacified. What do you want? I will give you anything you desire. Then Prahlad Maharaj, actually in his heart, he felt a little bit offended. He said, I'm not a vanik. I'm not a trader. I did not do it to get something from you. So he starts his beautiful prayers by saying, please, oh Lord, just give me a boon that I can forever remain at your lotus feet as your faithful servant. This is all I desire. I didn't do all of that. I didn't tolerate it. All of this torture and constant murder attempts from my father. And this whole environment, because I really wanted to get something from you. So he's stressing that point, and it is described that he felt a little slighted by that request, but this is also a test of Lord Narasimhadev. He wants to see that devotion to be expressed through the prayers of Prahlada Maharaj. So by asking that, he's actually glorifying his devotee because he knows this is the answer he's going to get. And not just an answer, like for myself, when I have to say something like that, I have to force myself to say that, or try to remind myself, oh, don't forget, you have to say that. For him, it was natural, like breathing. Immediately he's saying, Lord, I just love you. That's all I'm concerned of. If I can just serve you with love and affection, that's all I need. So please do not abandon me. Let me be with your company forever. So that was his only prayer, and it's so beautiful. And really, Maharaj, there's so many, as you know, and I'm sure you're reading right now in Italy, the Srimad Bhagavatam description of Lord Narasimha's pastimes. There's so many beautiful pastimes and prayers by Prahlada Maharaj to Narasimhadev, and also instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to his classmates. And we hear that the children would enter the school at the age of 5. So perhaps, and they probably stay up to the age of 11. So he is somewhere there. He's actually a very small child. And one of the verses confirmed that he's saying to his father that at my age, you're not supposed to chastise that. It's against the Vedic principles. I'm too young. This kind of chastisement coming from you is inappropriate. You're destroying your reputation. So he's pointing out, and that actually points out towards his age, that he was really, we can say a small boy, but so beautiful prayers. And then Hiranyakashipu is asking, you're so bold to challenge me. You defined me so many times. Who is behind you? All the demigods tremble. When I just exhibit a little bit of anger, they all tremble in fear. None of them will be behind. None of them will give you support. Who is that person? He is asking in anger. And Prahlad Maharaj is probably saying, the person who is behind me is this, behind my strength, is the same person who is behind yours. And then he starts glorifying Lord Vishnu, and the rest will happen later today. So we have to wait for about 2-3 hours before the twilight. But right now, what happens, he's in school, he's preaching to his classmates, and the teachers are becoming disturbed. They don't want, some other people start saying that, oh, kids are out of control. They're doing Harinam Sankirtan over there, talking about this Vishnu, the worst enemy of humanity. So they're running to the palace of Hiranyakashipu to file a complaint and describe the situation, because it's better if he hears it from them. Otherwise, their heads will be removed from their shoulders. So this is what's happening right now. Prahlada Maharaj is having a Nagar Sankirtan, and he's with his schoolmates, and then teachers are running towards the palace to report it to Hiranyakashipu.
Hare Krishna. So yes, today a day to be absorbed in reading of Bhagavatam and reading of Srila Gurudev's own descriptions of how he came to Guru Maharaj, etc. And those will be on scsmath.com very soon, just after the program. Be some description there. Hare Krishna. And Ananta Krishna, would you like to share a word or two?
Please accept the humble obeisances, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
I've had a very long year, and or 2 years, and I had this beautiful letter all printed out nicely for you, and my computer broke down, and that was the end of that. So one of the things that I got into a real deep trough myself, and I felt that I was not in association at all of anybody. I had no association whatsoever. Although I have an under here, an under Prabhu, and he's very good. He will always say to me, da 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 da, and get it right this time, and everything will work out nicely. But at the same time, I realized, because I was in such a deep space at the time, mentally, physically, the whole works, I decided, okay, I've said in my letter that I have no association, da-di-da-di-da. What I found out was, by picking up a book, any one of the books, here is my association. Any literature is my association. I don't need an outside world. And yet I was still grabbing for the outside world. Circumstances have come across where I now need to say, it's okay not to have the outside associations. It's okay. You've got all this beautiful literature. Just pick a book up and you've got so much association. And I had written this letter with all this in it, but my computer broke down and I haven't been able to send it to you. And that was over 2 years ago or a year ago. It's just been madness. But anyway, yeah, so I found out that just picking up a book, I've got so much association, and how grateful I am for that.
We do a program every day.
Oh, and that's another point too. We do a program every day at home. We've got a beautiful altar. I don't know whether you remember when you came to our place, there was a big, long Duchess thing. Mm-hmm. We turned it into a lovely altar. We have Tulsi Devi actually growing in our backyard. Also, we've just brought her in for the winter, and she's in a beautiful tent inside the house. So we've got Tulsi Devi, we've got this beautiful situation going with this gorgeous altar, and every day we have puja. Every day we do something, every day. Sure. And without that, I have nothing to look forward to. It's like, I can pick up a book, pick up a book. Get hold of the sister, no, I don't need any of that. It comes, but it goes too. So, yeah, so very, very privileged to have that association. And just having your association, you're always in my heart and in my mind. Circumstances have not been able to be favourable for me to get to you with a letter or whatever, but in this way, I'm most blessed. If it weren't for Nanda, I wouldn't have known.
Thank you for sharing. And also, this is a foundation thing. If we can, in our home, wherever we are, just to have some altar, to do some puja, and to read and make that as carved in our nature as having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, except on Nrsimha Chaturdashi. And make that as part of our very nature, that we feel completely absent if we haven't had breakfast and lunch. We all notice it. So we need to have our little sadhana, something to keep us nourished. And Gurudev knows that what he's giving is going into books. The books have come from his grace. They've got his grace inside. Srila Guru Maharaj knows he's being recorded. With permission, he's being recorded. That's going into books. And Guru Maharaj giving his grace this way. And Srila Prabhupada, everybody knows Srila Prabhupada, presenting the books, knowing that they're going out. So this is our connection, especially so when we don't have the Vaishnavas, and when we do have the Vaishnavas, as far as possible, to try to read, not only randomly, but try to read a little systematically with the Vaishnavas. And this way, we know ourselves. We're happy readers ourselves, and happy readers and hearers with the devotees, and always some extra extra something is there when we're with the Vaishnavas.
Yeah, every day it's like that if we're at home. It's just glorious. You know, you're coming outside and it's all there. So thank you.
Right. Ananta Krishna. And see, your family is all here around the world for you too.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, Shripad Dandi Maharaj, give some good thoughts to all of the Vaishnavas. I used to say when I was Mahananda, I used to tell the sannyasis, so your profession is you're a professional blesser. So now you please give some of your blessing to the devotees.
Dandavat, all the Vaishnavas, Dandavat, dear Maharaj, dear Paramanda Prabhu, dear senior devotees, disciples of Gurudev, Guru Maharaj. So very nice. I can remember a little story about Nrsimhadev related to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Lila. That story is every morning when in Godrma, when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was changing his japa mala, then he can feel some breeze, and then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood that every morning Sri Nrsimhadev is coming to Mangala Arati in Navadvip. He is eager to participate in beautiful Mangala Arati before Lord Gauranga. Oh, and yeah, singing Shiva Shuka Narada Gankada Sampal. Shiva Shuka Narada participate in Arati of Gauranga. And all by the mercy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we also know that Nrsimhadev is also participating. Right? But this Mangala Arati, this Shiva, Shuka, and Narada, they participate in evening Arati. But Nrsimhadev visits maybe every Mangala Arati of Lord Gauranga. So it's beautiful Siddhanta. Every avatar of Lord worshiping Gauranga. Gauranga is source of all avatars, supreme personality of Godhead. So this link between obviously should be link between Nrsimhadev and Lord Gauranga. Also, I remember that Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada was mentioning so many times Nrsimha Lila, especially Prahlada Maharaj prayers, Prahlada Stuti, quotes so many times in purports in Bhagavad Gita. And those beautiful prayers of Srila Prahlada Maharaj and his prayers and also his instruction to his classmates. Матерна Кришне Парата Сватова Митхо Пипадета Грихавартана Хаданта Гобхир Виштанта Месарам Пунах Пунаш Чарвата Чарвана Нам. All those beautiful describing about real condition of spiritual soul under the influence of Maya. And once I do not remember just now, but Prahlada Maharaj said, Griha Manta Kupam, I was fallen to the deep hole of material life, and this hole was full of very precious snakes. But my spiritual master, Narada Muni, took me from this hole and he saved me. Then what another meaning I have in life than to show my spiritual master life after life. The other beautiful prayers is Naivod Vijaya Paraduratya Vaitaranyas Tadvirya Gaina Mahamritam Bhagnachita. And Prahlad Maharaj said, I actually do not want to go to Vaikuntha from this material world. I do not want, because I see so many souls are suffering under the influence of Maya, and I want to accept all his karmic reactions on my head. Let me put all their karmic reaction on my own, and let the spiritual soul be delivered from this material world. And until they will be delivered, I do not want to go to Vaikuntha. It's great compassion of Prahlad Maharaj. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj, in the Science of Self-Realization, one chapter called Compassion of the Saints. And Swami Maharaj is using this example of Prahlad Maharaj, showing how compassionate actually Vaishnavas are. And this this one of the chapters, one of the things convinced me in Vaishnavism, because I saw actually so much compassion from this great saints, how great souls they are. Those time I didn't know so much about other Vaishnavas like Vasudeva Datta, Haridas Thakur, and our acharyas. But I just read this Science of Self-Realization, maybe was one of my first book in spiritual life. But I read and I was so impressed by this actually wonderful type of compassion, and how great this soul, how great this saint. I read before about Buddhists, etc., but this compassion was extremely beautiful to the extreme. And Srila Prabhupada said in this book, only real Vaishnava, only real sadhu can have such type of compassion, because he does not want anything for himself, even mukti, liberation, he doesn't interested in. And then Mahaprabhu also said, Mama Janmani Janmanishwari, it's not question of liberation from a material world. If you, my Lord, wants me to suffer in this material world, maybe not suffer, but stay in this material world, lifetime after lifetime, then I am ready to do it. If I have this opportunity for devotional service. Nadhanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Majagati Shakamati Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatat Bhakti Rahaytuki Tvai. Because my bhakti should be ahaytuki, completely selfless. So I do not want even liberation from this material world. So many munis, so many rishis and sadhus and saints also, they are praying for liberation from material world. Lord, save me. But this type of prayer was completely different. I don't want to be saved from material world, actually. I want only to be servant of the servant. If my mission is to stay in this material world for the service, then I have to stay in material world for the service. Not question. Svarga pavarga narakishu apitulyatha darshana. Maybe in hellish condition also. If you want me to put in this hellish condition for the sake of service, then service is more important. So I can accept any suffering for the service. It was so beautiful, actually. So great. So Mahatma Maharaj, so great soul.
Jai Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.
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 Jai Shri Nrsingadev ki jai. And jai, wonderful Srila Gurudev. You're saying about the compassion of the Vaishnavas, and along with Prahlad Maharaj, we have to really think that Gurudev, our living example of that, really compassionate to the Vaishnavas, compassionate to the fallen souls, and to the Vaishnavas, of course. Wonderful.
Maharaj, are we to give kijais to assistant in the Leela? Today is also the Tirobov Mahotsav of Hiranyakashipu.
Hare Krishna. I'll meditate on that. Hare Krishna. Okay, dear devotees, we're way over time, but it is an exceptional day. It is Nrsimha Chaturdasi, and all started from New Zealand, by the way, as many of the programs, the festival days do, and we remember that you devotees there, you may not remember us always, but we do remember you, and always thinking that starting from New Zealand, and then step by step by step, the waves of these festivals go all over the world. And so we've been, and not just reminded, but informed, it's the 75th anniversary of Gurudev's coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. So it is a very special day. Let us all try to keep the speciality of this day on our heads. And whenever we get hungry, immediately think of Gurudev and think of Prahlad Maharaj, put our thoughts there. Because we'll all be fasting. And it is one of the few days in the year when we fast. So let's just try to be good and do nicely. And then I think you all know that after that, after sunset, and not necessarily, as we said, the very second after sunset, then we're honoring Anukalpa, which means the non-grains prasadam. All right, dear devotees, good to have all of you with us, good to be together. And Amiya Sindhu Prabhu joined us a little later on. Happy to have you with us, Amiya Sindhu Prabhu. And each of you one by one. We're a little over time.
Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Silence.
And Dandavats from Gaurangi, Didi, Devidas in Ecuador, Madhuchanda, Devidas in Mexico, Mathura Vasini in South Africa, and many more, Maharaj.
And many more also in Govinda Farm. We just had a quick tour of Govinda Farm there of all the other youngsters there with youngsters. All are youngsters. Yes, Leelavati, all of you are youngsters in the teenage category.
Oldsters too.
Pavan's also a youngster. To all of the young at heart devotees everywhere, then all of you, our obeisances, appreciation, and to those that you mentioned just now on Facebook, sending obeisances, Gaurangi Devidasi, Mathura Basini Devidasi, the devotees there, we appreciate very much. And to those of you who are seeing the recorded version also, recorded, not recorded, that's not a problem. We're very happy to be together with you and to know that the family around the world, to have that connection, it is so valuable, and to know you're there is also nourishing for us all. So here is our family, part of our big family around the world. Again, let us chant the glories. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
75th anniversary of coming to Guru Maharaj's lotus feet in his Leela ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. Jai Sri Saraswat Math ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Ananta Vaishnava Brinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Dandi Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Paramananda Jai. Shri Bhagavan Prabhu ki Jai. And all the devotees here with us online ki Jai. Jai Gaura Premanandi. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudana Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Ami Ashchit.